All right, Breach, why don't you turn the conversation to Dak, someone who, for the first time in a long time, didn't throw a bunch of, thank you, Harry, didn't lead the league in interceptions like he did a year ago, and he actually was in the MVP conversation, and he admitted that he sucked on Sunday night, which I don't think anyone is going to argue with.
Well, I think a problem is, look, as someone who was forced to watch Andy Dalton for 5 years in the playoffs, is that we've reached Andy Dalton territory where if you're a Cowboys fan, you do not trust Dak Prescott in the playoffs. He is 2-5 in his career. That is the worst playoff record in NFL history by anyone who has at least 5 starts.
What about Andy?
Andy's only got 3 starts.
Oh, he started the other 2.
He's got 4 starts.
Okay.
AJ McCarron started against your Steelers.
Okay, sorry.
Come on, Wilson. You know that.
My bad.
So, and that's where you are if you're a Cowboys fan. And this was kind of this is the one you had to win. You can't go out and lose this when you're a 7-point favorite, when you have the highest scoring offense in football. You have all your weapons out there. If maybe CeeDee Lamb was injured or if Brandon Cooks didn't play, if you had some built-in excuse that you could use, then great. But they didn't. They were fully healthy, and they could not do anything in this game. I mean, we're looking at a first half where they had 4 possessions in the entire half, or 5, but their first 4 went punt, interception, punt, pick 6. That's game. And that's on Dak Prescott. That is all on Dak Prescott. 100%. A little bit on CeeDee Lamb because for whatever reason, they were not on the same page. A little bit, give the Packers defense some credit, but I do think it was more of Dak melting down in the spotlight. He said after the game, like you guys just said, that he should be as much on the hot seat as Mike McCarthy, and that's it. Breach bot 3000 is out of business. I need a new team. Yeah. So it was just ugly. At the end of the first half, there was no way the Cowboys were coming back. It was just, I could have taken a nap in the second half. You guys could have taken a nap. It was over.
Yep.
It was wild to see. Like, they were out of the game immediately, and it was game planning because like that pick by Jair Alexander was outstanding. And they put him on CeeDee Lamb and basically said, let's shut him down. Jake Ferguson had a huge day, 3 touchdowns. But I don't know. It was the
Jair pick was a bad decision it was an inaccurate throw by Dak. The next pick 6 that Breach just mentioned was they were running double slants, and he threw the ball to CeeDee Lamb, which wasn't necessarily a bad read, except for the fact that Kirby Joseph, whoever was standing there, threw it right to him and hit him in the face. He didn't see him there. That's something that you don't want DTR or Aiden O'Connell to do. And that's like a day 1 minicamp mistake. And then after that, it's a wrap. I mean, Dak plays with confidence. I think he led the team in rushing, and that sort of skewed the rushing stats. But they shut down their ability to have any sort of balance. It certainly helps when you're up 27-0. At one point, we saw Jerry in the first half turn around looking to fire somebody. I don't know if he accomplished
Dak threw 60 passes.
Well, yeah, they were down. They were down all day.
60 is like you're getting your ass kicked. Can I? Do you think that there's any chance this is a weird Galaxy brain take, but that the Cowboys were victims of the Eagles' failure? In other words, if the Cowboys had been the 5 seed and were going on the road to play Tampa Bay,
they're worse on the road. They're good at home.
No, I know that, but I'm saying because they're so good at home, because the Eagles completely pooped their pants and gave the Cowboys the division, and because the Cowboys was like, you're 7-point favorites at home. Like, it was like Mike McCarthy was like, it was almost like he was doing a really good job coaching the team. And then the Eagles melted down. The Cowboys stole the division, and all of a sudden became, well, Mike has to win this game, or else he's getting fired. And if you heard Jason Garrett in the pregame for Lions Rams, that man is the most milquetoast human being on the planet. And he basically inferred that Mike McCarthy is fired. And he's someone who's been fired unexpectedly or sort of unexpectedly in a post Jerry. Like if somebody's going to know if somebody knows what it's like to be fired by Jerry Jones, it's Jason Garrett. And he seemed to imply that Mike McCarthy is.
What do you think of that conspiracy theory Breach about the Eagles?
I think if you would have sat down Mike McCarthy a week ago and said, do you want the 5 seed and go on the road and play the Buccaneers, or do you want to play the Packers at home, who just got shredded by Nick Mullins 2 times in 3 weeks? I think he's picking the Packers defense and saying, I think we can put up 500 yards and 45 points against them, and I would prefer to play Jordan Love, who's in a first career playoff start, because historically, before this weekend, when CJ Stroud and Jordan Love both went off, quarterbacks in their first career playoff starts generally play pretty badly. So I think he actually would have picked the Packers.
You know what else, Breach?
It's embarrassing.
7 seeds, 0-6 coming into this game.
0-6.
18-0 at home for the Cowboys. 8-0 this year.
Should Mike McCarthy? What's going to happen to Mike McCarthy, Wilson?
Before we do that, I'm going to read you some quick stats, and we'll take a break, and Brinson will tell us Mike McCarthy's future. Can you imagine Brinson being in control of your future, Breach?
No.
The Cowboys have now failed to reach the
Every
conference championship game in 13 straight playoff appearances. They've lost 8 times in the first game of the postseason, going back to 1996. And they are now 5-13 in the postseason since 1996. And that is the Jimmy Johnson line. They were 31-18 prior to that. So just something to think about if you are a long-suffering Cowboys fan. But
and they've now made the playoffs, 13 times without making it to the conference title game, which is the longest streak in NFL history.
Wonk, wonk.
Ever since Jerry made a deal with his higher power.